everybody. What is poppin' our lovely sesame seeds? I'm gonna keep on saying
What
that
is
until it
poppin'
works.
our lovely pimples?
Oh, geez.
I mean pupils.
I mean Pringles.
I mean pencils.
Ooh, pencils, pens. Welcome to your silo store. We provide Pringles, pencils, and pens. No, but on that note, we just want to say good morning. We hope that this is hitting you at a lovely time in your morning. We first and foremost just want to say you are beautiful, you are loved, and we love you so much. I know we said a double love there, but there's always enough love to go around. So today we are just coming off our first silo pop-up event at my Eileen Vintage.
Eileen Vintage.
I will always be the person that always pronounces things incorrectly.
And that's part of the fun of it, though.
Yeah, it is. But it was an amazing time. We had some great vibes, great just music and poetry. I mean, who knew that a mixture of poetry and music could hit home so much?
Yeah, and that Kelly performed twice, once of her poetry and then also singing. And,
she's a girl
maybe even
trades,
picking
man.
up some open mic night kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she has the voice. She has the talent. I mean, all of those people, all of our poets. I mean, Madison came in and she had a meeting at 6:30. And so she
Ooh.
was like, I'm going to pop in, do my poetry, and then skedaddle. I mean, like, that's the kind of dedication and just overall talent that we are so blessed to be involved in.
Yeah, and we welcome Brian, who joined us with Kelly.
Yeah.
This is his first event out with Silo. Got a little
amazing.
taste. He's one of my friends.
And it's crazy. And then we also have Bobby Norman, who has been in a little bit of a creative slump, but now is like just been
Oh, she's
booming.
getting out there.
She's booming now, man. It's been crazy to see. And then we also have Clover. They're coming out with a new name and also some new music release on August 13th.
Yeah.
Be prepared for that. But it was just an overall great night. And then shout out to everybody that did the open mic. I mean, those are the type of performances that like you just never see coming, but also just
They just like stand in the back and then they're like, yeah, I'm going to get up here and do my thing now.
and it just becomes like, wait, somebody sign this person. Like,
Yeah.
we need a record deal. We need their poetry in a book. Like,
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that we, on the back end of things, we plan all this stuff, but that's the stuff we strive for. And
Especially when it's just left open,
Mm.
as we talked about a few weeks ago. Just say yes. Just come up.
Say.
Just come up. Just come out.
Mm.
Make it happen. If you don't like it, don't come back. But you never know if you don't try. That's also a name of a Coin album. Moving on.
An amazing album, by the way.
Yes, sir.
But talking about Coin, that's one of your favorite bands, Austin.
It happens to be one of my top 5, if not
And-
top 3.
We're talking about you today.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna kind of hit
What do
that
you wanna
hard
know about me?
transition, because last week we talked about me, which made me uncomfortable, and now we're gonna talk about Austin.
I've been
Which-
dreading this moment since we thought of this.
So it's been weeks of just constant dreading.
Seriously, though. Like, I'm not ready for what you're about to ask me.
Bro, I am. So to be real with these podcasts, like we kind of plan them out, and then literally just before I was like, wait, what did you ask about me last week? And he's like, all right, here you go. And so now I wrote it down on this lovely note card, but we're gonna strive a little off the wayside with it as well because
Oh,
we're
even
pushing
worse.
Austin
Even worse.
into his comfortable zone. If that makes sense for anybody listening. It's a somewhat of a reference to a show, but I'm not gonna mention it because I trust that you know it. So, Austin.
Hi.
I feel like this is not an interview.
I'm literally in a hot seat right now.
Literally, I mean, this room really doesn't have much air conditioning. But shout out to anybody that is like, yo, we'd love to Austin and Gavin do their podcast here. If it has air conditioning, like we talked about in the last couple episodes, we will say yes.
We will say yes. I'll bring the Cheetos and the animal crackers.
Bro.
I got a
The Wheat Thins?
stash.
How do we feel about Wheat Thins?
Wheat Thins are there.
I like them.
Wheat Thins are there. Yeah.
But stop trying to get me off track. I
Okay.
caught you in your stuff. All right. So to Austin,
Hi.
we're going to make this as comfortable as possible.
You're going to look me straight in the
I'm
eyes.
going to look you straight in the eyes,
Okay.
not blink at all,
That's even worse.
and just be like, Austin, tell me about it.
Tell me about your
No.
life.
So, Austin, you
Hi.
are not only a photographer, but amazing human being who has created things beyond my own imagination, put together graphics, has cultivated, shout out to the event that we did a couple weeks ago, but has become an amazing friend, man, and also just overall human being. And there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, yo, how did Austin become Austin in his creative field? Well, today we're gonna just dive right into it. Tell me how you started out as Austin the creative.
My mom birthed me in 1999.
Oh shoot! Got it in 1999.
Fast
baby.
forward. No. How did I become creative? I guess it's weird because it's so foggy for me. I definitely don't remember how I got started in literally anything. When I first started Instagram, if that would be considered my air quotes start,
Anything to start, man. Anything to start.
My first post was a bag of Chipotle, and it said, "Who doesn't love Chipotle?" And let me tell you, that was my first Chipotle. Never had it before, so I was posting it totally blind,
Real,
just
authentic,
just going with trends, saying, "Oh, everyone loves Chipotle." I didn't even open the bag yet, and I'm posting about it, saying how good it is.
What a man!
So that's end of creative journey.
What a man! That's not where we stop, man. That's not where we stop.
No, and so I don't know. I really don't know how it started. But I started taking like iPhone photos.
How about this? Where did you feel where your creativeness started taking off?
Definitely just, yeah, like what I was about to say is the iPhone photos. I would use things to get like I would use the camera and get super close to like something, because you can't get like a shallow depth of field without having something like obscuring part of the frame. So I would be taking photos like close to something, or it would be really close to something to try to get like a nice landscape shot with like a foreground element. And it was like iPhone photos, like iPhone like 3 or 4 is probably when I started.
The tanks of the iPhone industry.
Actually the tanks. And I don't know, I would just post them on Instagram. I really don't know at all how that came to be, but I was just posting like literal, like any place I would go. I'd go on a hike, take a snapshot of like the top of the hike, post that, sure, cool, move on. And I would just do that with no intention, or Instagram back then was a very simpler place. And I would just do fun, crazy things with my friends when I was younger. And it was like biking in the rain, in the mud, and my friend would like slide down and like hurt himself, and I would videotape it and be like, haha, loser. I'm just kidding. That's actually still on my page, I think, of my guy like just ripping down a hill and like into the mud in my neighborhood. Good video. But it was literally like those Instagram posts, like nonstop. No real reason behind it, but it would just happen. And yeah, I really don't know. And it would just continue until I bought my first DSLR.
That's amazing. I mean, like, I think this is a great kind of last episode with my story. It kind of had an exact start time.
Yeah.
And through that, it had like exact points in that timeline. But that's not everybody. I mean, anybody that creates can probably tell you a completely different story of how they started out. And then there's also like yourself, like you didn't, like it just kind of created itself.
Yeah.
Which is a huge testimony to like your just due diligence of like, you know what, I'm just going to like videotape this and take a photo of this because it looks cool, or I like the way that this looks, or this is exposed. And then as you kind of start doing that, people are like, yo, like this is really sick. And you're like, what? I just took a picture of that, or just my one friend like fell down that muddy road, and I was like, that's funny. Like that's sometimes how things come to be.
Yeah.
And I think that is your start, Austin.
It's
like how we whatever you believe in this world, we were like a lot of times people are just like, oh, that's just how it was, how the world came to be. That's how Austin and his creativeness came to be.
It's my origin story.
Exactly. I mean, like, and that's just plain and simple. And it almost, I think, the start may have been a little fuzzy and foggy, but the middleman, we want to talk about that because this man, you have right now full-fledged photography, like silo, all that stuff. But what kind of was those points leading up to?
Yeah. So in leading up to that was the baby steps. I walked then to run where I am now. I bought a DSLR, which is like an actual like camera, not just an iPhone.
What you mean to tell me that this is not a?
No, I mean nowadays I wouldn't say it back then, but
All jokes aside.
like 5 years ago or something, I bought my first DSLR. And I was like, people like the photos that I'm posting. I'm not even doing this for them. Like I was not doing it for them at all. I was like, this is artsy. Ooh, this is artsy. And I just kept doing it.
That's awesome, man.
So I bought a camera. I'm like, okay, let's just do it. I'm just going to do it. I think I bought one, or like my mom bought my camera for like my birthday or something really cheap. And I was just messing around with it. Then really all that happened, all that like started everything maybe was I was like, I don't know how to use this correctly. And I was like, okay, turn straight to YouTube.
Gotta love YouTube.
And literally sink 2 to 3 hours a day of just learning about camera stuff. Literally I'm still doing it to this day. I probably put in about an hour of education each day, very passively, just in who I subscribe to. And those people influence me. And that's entertainment for me, not just learning, which is really cool. It's education and entertainment.
That's awesome.
That's kind of like, how parents are like, oh, you can have fun, but you also got to play like the letters game on your DS. Well, that was kind of for me, but like I wanted to be playing, Hooked on Phonics works for me, or whatever that like CDs that you learn the alphabet on your computer is. And like I wanted to be watching those videos. Those people were entertaining and fun to watch, but they also taught practical tips. And yeah, so tons of education, literally just because I wanted to get better at what I had. And it was still pretty casual for 2 or 3 years, I would say. And that just came with me having fun and like, I was actually starting to make some kind of money just on the side doing jobs, like actual jobs, not like photo jobs.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, I can like invest in a new lens and maybe it's worth it to buy the 50 millimeter. That's probably the next step from a beginner standpoint. And excuse me, that's going to stay in there. And yeah, continued education, investment in my gear, in myself, just because it was something fun. And, then like that third year silo came around and I started messing around with graphics and everything like that. When I was really early on, I did want to become a graphic designer as a kid.
That's so cool.
So maybe that's kind of my origin story. But I was like, there's a lot to it. Maybe I'm not skilled in the electronic part of designing. Like I would draw cool things, but I can never translate that to like using fonts in Adobe kind of thing. But yeah. And then Silo came along. I took over most of the marketing and social media end of that. And then last year is where I hit hard with photo stuff. It was some kind of epiphany during one of my shoots with my then very early girlfriend and some of my closer friends. Shout out Hun. She was probably the one person that helped me the most last year. And I attribute a lot of my drive towards. She really helped out motivationally with that. But I had one shoot with all of them. It was my girlfriend, her sister, and Hun. That like I was like, okay, listen, I'm gonna go hard at this. I'm going to invest in learning how to edit better, and like take this seriously as a a possible career, and it kind of blossomed, and like from me actually taking it seriously, I was starting like intentionally book people and get people involved that are outside my comfort zone and talk to other people.
And would you say that you, like, the way that you create is by, like you said, you briefly touched upon it, but like learning from other people and being like surrounded by other people, is like that where you feel that your creative drive just increases?
Yeah, definitely. I think when I'm surrounded by people of equal or lesser skill set, I'm like, one, I could either teach the people what I know, or two, if they're on the same level as me, I can bounce my struggles, ideas off of them.
That's awesome. And would you say that that's something like, where do you see yourself in the next couple of years, like in the future of, because now we talked about like your start, your middle, your kind of like present with like where Silo is at. But like, where do you see yourself? Like, do you see that like you're becoming full-time in your photography business? You see it more of like, I want to, through that business, teach people? Like, where is Austin in the next couple of years?
I mean, right now I just got hired on after graduating college as a full-time videographer at Living Word.
Let's go, Austin.
So it was a big thing for me to make sure I'm financially stable as I move into the next years of my life. I don't think anyone wants to graduate college and say, I don't know what's happening, or I don't want to hate my job, and I don't hate my job. I think it's amazing because it also fuels what I do outside.
That's awesome.
Where do I see myself going? I'd love to keep on pursuing all that I'm doing, social media marketing, all of the photography that I'm doing. I just want to just run with it. I want to teach people about photography. I want to empower those and just keep growing. I don't know what niche of photography I want to get into yet, because I kind of love it all, but probably more like editorial, like model-y kind of thing, kind of like portraits. I love couples too. That's fun.
And who knows, man? I mean, like, I think that's one thing that I've come to know you more, as I come to know you more and more, is that you're basically a jack of all trades, especially when it comes to photography. I mean, like, we were talking about the other day, it's like there's some times where you're doing this one thing in photography, and we see it on your page, and then you do kind of something, dibble-dabble on something else, and then you come back up, do kind of similar, but you take what you've learned from that dibble-dabble into something even better.
Right.
And so I know last week you kind of like were making me like nervous.
Oh no, don't do it.
But I think
don't do it.
That Austin, you have
I'm gonna hang up the phone.
No, you have the ability to reach people that I think never thought that they could need that reach. You know, like your photography tells stories. I mean, it hits people at home. I mean, like, when we first started the Silo thing, like, I saw you and your creative side through your graphics and through your pictures, because you're telling stories. You're capturing people in ways that they never thought they could be captured.
Right.
And I so see, like, you teaching people, like, hey, taking out a group of young photographers and being, like, tailing them and challenging them like you do to me. And everybody around you. And I think it's insane and it's crazy to just be able to witness and be a partner to that in your creative journey, because I've enjoyed the sidelines, and now I'm enjoying the actual, like, being a part of the team with it all. And I think everything you talked about, and anybody that's out there, if you're looking for a natural light photographer, if you're looking for a photographer that can capture you in ways that you never thought so, if you're looking for a man that will be your hype man, that'll just be like, yo, let's go do something, check out Austin.
Bruh. Thank you, brother.
You're welcome. Always. But do we think have I made you uncomfortable enough?
Yeah, I'm ready to leave now.
Okay. We'll just like close the door and call it a day, eh?
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate everybody that's listened to kind of like this 2-part series. Got to know Austin, got to know myself. We're thankful for, again, the continuous support and love. And if you want to get to know us more, reach out to us, talk to us, and we'll be there.
we will be there. We will answer you. Yeah. Have a good rest of the week, guys. Take it easy. Say yes to something this week.
Yes.
See ya.
Bye.